And the federal permit thing, it's funny because when you're looking at federal permits, it's the back and forth, right? So I don't care what political party you're on, right? I say that a lot. But when you're looking at the thousands, right? They're sitting on thousands of these federal permits, thousands of them. So when you're looking at 2,200 leases are in court right now, that's what Western Energy Alliance is defending, 2,200 of those leases. And they're defending the companies, I think there's, which is dozens, if not over 100 oil companies that own those leases on the federal land, which cannot be developed while these cases are ongoing, right? And the reason why they're ongoing is because when you're on federal land, it's different, guys. When you're on federal land, those permits are subject to environmental studies right off the bat. We all know how crazy that could become, right? You just got a guy with a grudge, hate this, hate whatever side, and I'm going to put up in court and make a big stink about it and protest. So it's a crazy process. Also, they're subject to lawsuits by just about anyone. Neighbors, municipalities, state, country government. So it's extremely difficult to drill on these. So while you have one party saying, well, we have 9,000 permits, what are you talking about? You can't drill. Okay, and again, depending on your politics, you may agree or disagree with what I just said, even though all those things are facts. And I get it because people are religious about politics. Ask yourself this. Because if you have any common sense, ask yourself this. Oil companies are sitting on thousands of these federal permits. Oil prices have surged over $100 a barrel, which is whatever, 4 or 5 year highs, where the company's profit margins are absolutely massive here. So why the fuck are they not drilling on these permits on federal land? Why? Why wouldn't they be drilling on these if they were open, right? As an oil company, unless you hate profits, unless you hate money, they're doing everything they can to drill on these, but that won't happen. But the politicians will blame whoever they want to blame. You don't want to blame, revoking the permit for the Keystone XL pipeline. Pretty big deal, right? Would have imported crude from Canada, which lowers our prices here. Or, just so happens, I'm a believer, if you're a president, whatever happens with Bush, September 11th, if you're in office, it's your fault. Don't blame, it was a party before me and a party before him. And there's a party, because everybody plays a blame game. No one in politics wants to admit that, this is me, my fault, let me prove it, which I think will do wonders, actually, to just go on TV and say, hey, something is my fault and this is what we need to do to make it better, right? Because that's normal. That's what we all go through. We all have ups or downs. That'll never happen. But when you're looking at Russia, which was the key to this, with energy prices surging, and we're leveraged to the world markets, guys, not just the U.S., we're leveraged to the world markets. This happened under Biden's watch. So you could yell all you want and have these hearings or whatever. Again, there's an easy solution. Let the oil companies drill like crazy. We have the technology. Open up these federal permits. They're in court. It's very difficult to drill on these, even from the context that I hear from. Make it as easy as possible. Become a major exporter. And we take a lot of those profits and we throw them towards alternative energy. It's a simple solution, but it'll never fucking happen. We all know that because the politicians are involved. And they're going to pretend that they're there to represent the constituents and say, oil prices are high. It's the oil companies' fault, in point, because all the idiots don't want to do the research and actually look what's going on. That's why I think this is hilarious. When I see these politicians, you really understand what they don't know. And they know everything about the law because they love that. That's it, right? They make the laws and most of them are lawyers. But when it comes to things like this and just, the economy, the stock market, when it comes to finance, and the fact that they're so uneducated when it comes to this, most of these politicians, it's funny. It's very entertaining to watch this. And that's, again, I'm bashing everyone on both sides, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, the reality is it affects everybody. This is why you pay attention to things like this. To your point on the drilling leases, President and CEO Rick Muncrief, or Kreff, I'm not sure, of Devon Energy, explained that permits like a APD, or application for permit to drill, under normal circumstances, you basically try to get from ADP to drilling in 5 to 6 weeks. Fast forward, that's taking around 6 months now. So from 5 to 6 weeks to 6 months is a big deal. Mm-hmm. The other thing here to take away is that the only good thing about volatility and chaos, Frank, is that it speeds up the line of communication. So as parties, in this case, the party in power coming up to an election, they're going to have to get much more blunt and quit beating around the bush because they're running out of time to get their message across. You can get the sense of here, and I hope people watch this and can give us some feedback, Daniel at CurzioResearch.com, because there's a group of people out there, and I totally disagree, but I'm okay with them explaining this. There's a group of people out there that think, hey, the world is coming to an end if we don't get off of oil and gas, and to everybody that's being hurt because of higher prices, that's just part of doing business. That's the cost of doing business, and the bigger issue, the bigger goal is better than you. And that's where the patriotic left, ironically, came to the hearing today. They were talking about you oil companies ought to be patriotic and quit taking so much profits. Forget about the dividends and shareholders and big shareholders and the retirements and the pension plans and all that to have it. So you have to be very shallow when you're discussing this. You only want to grab onto one thing and keep on and take the ball and run with it. We can have fun with this. Like I said, you got to take this with laughter, because if you don't learn to laugh about this, you will absolutely go insane and it'll drive you nuts. So I'm going to create a watch list of just these couple of companies on there. We're going to track their performance from here, Frank. It should be a fun whirlwind show, but please use any pullbacks to have exposure into this sector going forward.
And one last thing here too, because they're trying to say which, you're looking at oil prices have come down. They have come down, right, off their highs, 130. They're a little bit below 100 now. So why aren't prices coming down at the pump? And they haven't really come down at the pump, at least by me. I can't speak for every single state, but I'm pretty sure, across the board, we haven't really seen them come down. So they're grilling, BP, Chevron, Shell, and these guys are like, look, no one person dictates the price. It's a market.
Right.
So the market is like, these are the people who own the retail stations, whether it's Circle K, if it's 7-Eleven, these are the people that dictate that. So those are the people, if you're really concerned about why that's not happening now, why they're not going lower, or why they're not pushing lower, those are the people you need to grill, because those are the people who really could set the prices every place. And that's what you see in all the gas stations, right? So Exxon, Shell kind of got out of that business a while ago. Though that's what you really have to focus on. So retailers, because I'm seeing it even here where we have lots of gas stations, and there's like a 20-cent difference, 25-cent difference in some of these areas, which is maybe 2-3 miles from my house compared to here. How's that possible? The same truck is coming to deliver, right? So it's not like, they should all be the same within your area, within, a couple miles. And they're not. That's a big difference between 20 and 25 cents. But that maybe, just you're grilling the wrong people here. I know it's great to grill these guys. I get it. I understand it. Politics are grandstanding. I get it. But it is kind of funny. It is kind of a waste of time because, when you look yourself in the mirror, the reason why oil prices are really high has to do with a lot of politicians and less with these oil companies right now. Yeah,
absolutely. But hey, it's been through boom and bust. They lost a lot of money overall, aggregately, during periods listen. And I'm not just defending these oil companies blindly. I'm not saying that they haven't made mistakes, they haven't done stupid things. That's not the takeaway here. So don't go there with me. I'm simply saying there's a lot of wiggle room here, and I love the yes/no questions from both sides of the aisle. And like I said, these are good theater. It's just unfortunate that it has such a drastic impact on our lives.
Yeah, and you're looking at oil companies across the board. Pioneer being in this conversation is great. Just show you how big Pioneer's come, which is one of the largest, shale companies. Wow, they're amazing. You look at Devon Energy, which has been a favorite for us. You recommended Exxon on this site plenty of times. I mean, there's specialty plays as well, in smaller plays. And
how funny is it if you're Enron? Sorry to interrupt. If you're Exxon, excuse me, not Enron.
Enron.
Yeah. Close. If you're Exxon, you get these new board members, the greenies, because BlackRock's throwing their weight around. You start putting out every comment you can make about environmental, social, and governments to please everybody. And what happens? You still get dragged in front of the House committee and you're still yelled at.
There's nothing
proving you can't win. So quit bending to the thumb of these people. You can't win. Just do what's right for the overall average American, please. That's my plea to these oil executives. Big oil and big tobacco got thrown around in yesterday's hearing. That was hilarious. It's just all about pitting those against one versus the other. So it's shareholders versus the little guy. Why isn't the takeaway here to everybody buy stocks?